but we can continue.
All right, so we got one more video, and then after this video, Robbery, do you want to start bringing some people up to ask you any questions they got?
Absolutely, sure.
All right, so I'm gonna put the link in the chat, you guys. We're gonna play one more video, and then we're gonna put the link in the chat. Hit the chat if you guys want to come up and ask his brother any questions, got any comments. He's here for the smoke. He ready for the smoke, y'all. He ready for the smoke.
Sister Christina, I had one more thing.
Yes.
One last thing is that also these comments are made by people who have not traveled abroad.
Okay. So y'all heard what the brother said. Y'all heard what the brother said. Okay. He ready for y'all. Hit that link. Okay, we're gonna play one more video, and y'all hit the link in the comment section if y'all want to add to the conversation. But let's go to one more video.
Okay, so a comment on my video sent me down a rabbit hole I don't ever want to go down again. Passport bros are real? There's this group of like 7 black men on TikTok with like passports and saying they're going to other countries to find more submissive women. No. Do they not know they're gonna be black everywhere they go?
Stop it. Get some help.
Like an African American everywhere they go? Wait, where are these other countries? Are they going anywhere in Europe? Probably not. Oh, their men is.
I don't know what's going on. I think my internet is just acting wonky. I'm worried about your internet. It looks like it's my internet. But I'll just wrap up what she said. She basically said they're going to these other countries as if they're forgetting that they're black. So they think they're going to go to these countries. This is what she said. She said so they think they're going to go to these other countries and forgetting that they black. So I guess she's trying to say all these countries people go to, you black. So why you trying to go there? And she insinuates, the link is in the chat, you guys. Y'all check these people videos. She insinuates like there's some kind of predator. She was like saying, oh, they're looking for girls and women in these countries that are more lenient to certain things, if you know what I mean. So it sounds like she's trying to insinuate that these men are traveling to these other countries so that they can mess with little girls and women. And I guess, I don't know, traffic them. I don't know where she's going with it, but yeah.
Right. It's the same thing. Shaming language again. I heard the part where she was talking about, oh, well, don't they know when they go to these countries, you know, that they're still black? See, she's assuming that the way black men are treated in the West is the same way they'll be treated everywhere. Again, what was my last statement? My last statement was you're talking people making comments who have never traveled abroad. Okay. I'm here in the Philippines. I walk down the street and people are saying hi and smiling and hey, where are you from? I'm from the US. Oh, hey, US, my friend, all that other stuff. So that's what I'm getting. That's the treatment that I'm getting. Okay. Very, very nice. Very nice people. Same thing with a lot of other passport bros. Again, you're talking about women, those women on the videos, talking about women who have not traveled. Okay. They have this, they think that these other women have experienced the same trauma that they have experienced. Okay. So for the past 60 years, you know, the black man was the poster child of, you know, deadbeat dads, things like that. And a study, CDC showed that's not true. Again, with the facts, data, and statistics, but that's not true. In fact, it says that, you know, black fathers are the most involved of the fathers. But that aside, so the black man, he's not nothing. He's broke. He's poor. He's dusty. He's this and that. She thinks, or they think, that's the same programming or trauma response that other women in other countries would have for the black man, and it's nothing of the sort. It's none of that. That's just simply not true. And then for some reason they throw in, oh well, you know, you're not going like to Europe and for what? It's just like the West. Those are not traditional women there for the most part. Those are not traditional women there. None of the men are going to go to any country where feminism is running rampant. Period. Why? For what? That's not what they want. So I don't understand. Shaming men into something that they don't want makes no sense. But we can continue.
All right. So we got 2 people up on the chat. Who you want to hear from first, Robbery?
Okay, let's see.
We got 2 up on the chat.
Oh, we can. Reese Roberts, she been in here for a long time, so go ahead and let her in there.
All right, Reese. So go ahead, girl. The floor is yours. Question, comment. Let's do this.
Hey, you guys. Nice conversation. Thanks for having
Hey,
me.
Hey.
shalom.
Um, so the question I want to pose um, is about the challenge of a woman. Because when we have this conversation about a woman being more meek and mild and tender and submissive overseas, I think it is a slap in the face to a sister because we've had not had the ability or the luxury of having those types of attitudes towards life. For a brother to abandon us because we have become hard and callous or sort of masculine because of the conditions of all of our upbringings and all of our conditioning over here in the West, it just to me speaks to weakness because it tells me that the man is not up to the challenge of figuring out how himself can adjust to his environment and the conditions that he and his woman have been subject to instead of just running from the situation to go find less of a challenge. So the situation in my mind is more of a cultural thing, less of a feminine versus masculine thing because we've all suffered the hands of oppression and the like I said, social conditioning, the things that have sort of victimized our entire community, men and women alike. Women have not run from this, but our men are showing us signs that they are running from it, not wanting to deal with the effects of the very communities that they've been a part of and contributed to for the last several centuries and of course decades. So, I'm not necessarily clear about why a man would be justified in those type of actions, just picking up and leaving, and then having the nerve to call a woman masculine after she has been raped and beaten and downtrodden and limited and all these other things, having her man taken away from her. Not that she kicked him out, her man was taken from her in several ways, systemically and intentionally. And so for her to be slapped in the face and told that she's not this and she's not that, it seems very, much like an insult.
Now, before you answer that, Robert Reed King, I see your comment. The link is in the chat. Just hit the link and you can come right up. Just hit the link and you can come right up. So yes, it's on you, Reed. You want to answer the sister?
Yeah, sure. Well, one, I have to disagree with almost everything she said because she said that it's more of a like they're just cutting and running and things like that. But I beg to differ. I think the black man has been dealing with it for the past 60 years since the 60s. He's been dealing with it because why? They have the most suicide, most suicides, most disenfranchised, mass incarceration, and the list goes on and on and on. The black men have suffered from those effects. And then she says, well, the men have been taken away. Yeah, in some respects, but then also our own sisters, our own the women who share our image, our own sisters have given up on us. Think about it. The other races, the men are the leaders of their community. Only the black race is seen as the women are the leaders of our community. Okay, why is that? Because when you go back 60 years or so, whatever, and you give the government programs and things like that, and of course you can't get the government programs if the man is in the house. They chose, our sisters, they chose the government programs. And then when in the 70s, when feminism came around or whatever, it was, we know that was the white woman's plight, and then the black woman joined in on it, and now the black woman is almost like the face of it right now. So
how was that a choice for us?
What do you mean it's a choice? They chose the handout.
How was it a choice? No, I'm just asking, how was it a choice for us? Because our men were taken away to war. We didn't have, that was not our choice.
No, that part wasn't your choice, but the choice of taking. But
that's what happened. Okay. They went away to war. That's where the government benefits came from. They were gone.
Okay.
Literally gone, physically gone. They were taken, drafted.
Okay, one, that's not all men. Two, what about the 70s?
No, not all of them. But what I'm saying is, we're talking about categoric.
Hold on, Reese. Let him answer what you was, and then you could go. You can finish, Reese. What you were saying, Reese?
Okay, so yeah, let me finish. Okay, so what I'm saying is that you're talking about one instance. You're saying, okay, war, and then you're making that you're making that the issue for the past 60 years when that is not. Okay, that is not the issue for the past 60 years. That started something off, in war. But there's other things, like you said, there's incarceration. Okay, then also when you look at the black family and stuff, is busted up. Period. It is busted up because of the programming. The programming of, think about it, the only woman on the planet who's independent, don't need a man, the sister.
So that was the reason why they got incarcerated.
And so the men we have to deal with that. No, ma'am. Let me finish.
Incarceration don't have nothing to do with us either.
She's the poster child for that. I understand. Okay, ma'am. The busting up of the home, that is on you. That is on the sisters. If 80% of the time they are the one initiating the divorce. Now, I know that all too familiar refrain is going to be, oh, he was abusive, or oh, he was this and that. Okay, abuse cannot be the number one reason for a divorce. Okay, we all know it's not that. We know it's irreconcilable differences. Okay, so we know that's like the number one right there, especially when you have the advent of no fault divorce. Because before that, you had to prove that he did something wrong to you. But now you don't even have to prove that. So the divorce, that's your fault. The have multiple baby daddies, that's your choice. Carrying before you marry, that's your choice. That's your choice.
No, I don't understand how a person can say
before you are married,
if these things are the fault.
Is that your choice? If you
hold on, ask a question. Hold on,
choice?
Reese. He's gonna ask you a question, and then Reese, you answer. Ask the question again, Reed.
Okay. If you get pregnant before you get married, is that your choice?
Okay, Reese. Answer. He asked you a question.
Depends on the circumstances.
Okay. Then I guess we're not gonna get
People get pregnant for all different kinds of under certain circumstances. If I get raped, no, that's not my fault. If I was drugged, like that has happened to me by a bunch of black men.
Again, is
that
what normally happens?
Hold on, Reese. Let her finish answering, and then you can respond.
All right. Well, like I said, you want to generalize when it's convenient for your point, and then you want to specify when it's convenient for your point. So we're talking either generally or we're talking specifics. In general, you have circumstances under which women get pregnant. We all know that women's vaginas are targets to victimize them. And there are several situations where a woman's vagina can become victimized to make her impregnated. So what I'm saying is that it depends on whether or not that woman was under a circumstance in which she could have avoided becoming pregnant before being married, or she could not have. Because it's very well known that there are conditions under which she may not have been able to prevent that.
Okay, Reese, Robert, what were you saying?
Okay, again, she's arguing from an extreme. I'm talking about in general because that's what happens most of the time. Any of us can take an exception to just about any rule and just to try to make our point and we could take any anecdote and then
right, but that's the reason why I asked for your specificity there, is because if we're talking specifics, then that's what I'm trying to clarify so that I could put my answer into context, in general or in specific. Because if we're talking about in general, then there are implications on both parties. If a woman gets pregnant before she's married, she's not impregnating herself, is she?
Okay, Reese. What I'm saying is that in general, when people have sex, is a crime being committed? You're talking about rape and drugs.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Let him finish, and then you can respond. And we're gonna go to Vinny.
Okay. Then okay.
Yeah, you can answer, and then we're gonna go to Vinny.
Okay, let's go to Vinny. Okay, let's go to Vinny, because we can't have a serious conversation if we know if her position is, well, when people have sex, sometimes a crime is committed, sometimes it's not. No, I'm talking in general. That way everyone can understand. Okay, we understand that sexual crimes can be committed and sexual crimes are committed, but is that what we're talking about? No, we're talking about relationships. And so my question was, when a woman gets pregnant before she is married, talking about no crime is being committed, is that her choice or not? Okay.
That's
Now,
what I'm saying. It's
most
a
of the
choice
time,
of both parties.
any sane thinking person would be like, okay, in general, yes, no crime has been committed. It's her choice whether or not she
I'm
wants
not
to sleep.
denying that. I'm saying it's both the decision of both people. So I haven't denied what you're saying. I'm giving you the answer that I'm coming to you with is that it's for both the responsibility of both people in that situation. If they're in a relationship,
I
it's
didn't ask
not a
about. We
fault
didn't
of a
ask about the
person.
responsibility.
It's not right.
We
It's not a
didn't. I
fault of
didn't
a
ask about the
person.
responsibility.
Right. I'm answering your question. It's not a fault of a person if they get pregnant before they're married. It's a decision that was mutual.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is let's go to, do you want to add anything to that read? And then we're gonna go to Vinny, and then Reese will give you some time after we get to Akeem and Vinny. You want to respond to anything, Reed, and then we'll go to Vinny and Akeem.
No, I'm gonna choose not to. Let's go ahead and go to Vinny real quick.
All right, Vinny, you on the stage. What's good? I see you in the chat. What's going
Yeah.
on?
Yo. Peace to everybody. Shalom to the room. Uh, hey, what's up, Sister Reese? What's up,
Hey,
Brother Robert? Uh, we was
Shalom.
we used to do some social show on Debate Talk for you a while back. But yeah, good to hear y'all voice again. I think it's an interesting conversation. I mean, I see Sister Reese's point, but I do think that like ultimately, when it comes down to like laying down with people, I think we kind of been destroyed by the Western mindset, and the family structure has been kind of like destroyed. Everybody is kind of on a selfish pattern now. I think we had a discussion about this in one of those shows back in the day, where it was uh, some serious points made about the black family and how nobody thinks about being a family anymore. It's like everybody has this mission on, everybody wants to make money, you know, and the mind state is just westernized. Um, but I will say that like with the passport brother situation, um, I, I I meet a lot of guys who uh, who have very hard times dealing with our people. Let's just put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Especially the ones that we grew up around, because they have, man. I don't know what it is, man. It's like the music we listen to, the television shows we listen to. They're kind of growing up to not only be over sexualized, but also have this mentality of this feminist perspective. And I think that that's destroying the family, because there is no order anymore. Everybody's the head, and the line is just really, really blurred. So when these brothers go across the seas, and then they get them a wife that's maybe like their grandmother, or maybe even like their mother, they see how these women are, how they want to rear the household. It's kind of an attraction, you know. And I think that going about it by demonizing these brothers just for wanting that type of a relationship when they can't find it out here is, I don't think that's the most positive thing to do. I think that what we should do is just focus on our community, man, and start raising these kids right, and get back to the way that we used to be. Because I'll go ahead and yield after this point, but I have this cousin, and she's a Muslim cousin. She came over from Kenya, and she covers up. She dresses in the full hijab with her head covered and everything. So when she came over here, she was trying to, she was talking about, we was talking about the culture and everything. And my sister, she's kind of a feminist type of, happy-go-lucky type of lady. So we're all sitting down having a conversation, and my sister is looking at her hijab, and she's like, "Oh man, you guys must feel so oppressed, because you got to cover yourself up all the time." And then she looked at my sister and she was like, "Nah, we look at you guys like you guys are oppressed, because everybody's over sexualized and you feel like you got to show your body, just to
Mm.
kind of like fit in." So I think that plays a big part into the mentality of how our women are thinking over here. And I think that it leads to the brothers going over there trying to look for companionship that they're not getting over here. So I think it's both of our parties, our parts. We both play a role, male and female alike. And then we just have to we just have to end it, man. We have to stop all the nonsense and then try to get back to the way that we used to be. And I know coming from a biblical perspective, I follow the brother Robert Reed, and I like what he's doing, especially in terms of community. At least what we chatted a little bit about when we were on the phone with Sal a while ago. Like with the Pastor Dow situation and everything, our community type thing like that. But I just think we need to get back to that way, so that we can, we really need to reshape these minds out here, because we whooped and we're losing. We're losing big time. And I'll go ahead and yield.
All right, Reed, you want to respond to that? Queen Real, I'm gonna get to you, but I want to get to Akeem first, okay? So Reed, you want to respond to that? Then we're gonna go to Akeem.
Yeah, no, I like everything that he was saying, that their brother was saying, because I believe he's right. I believe he's right. It's just it's out there, and if we want to switch to anecdotal things, you look at these guys, they're having a hard time back at home. So it's not running or anything. It's because they have dealt with the issue, and you can't it's like a no-win situation. You're fighting something to where you're severely disadvantaged, right? It's like I don't know. It's like America's like one of the seats of power of feminism. A man is at the mercy of the system. Period. He's at the mercy of the system. And so when he says, "Okay, I'm gonna sign up. I'm gonna go ahead and leave. I'm gonna go somewhere else." I mean, that is just the best way of doing it. So you don't have to be a victim, because you're at disadvantage, okay? Because like biblically, the brother brought up the Bible. Biblically, we're supposed to be the leaders, supposed to be the patriarchs and things like that. But if there is nothing you can do or say with to your woman to kind of maintain order in your home, then who's really in charge? Because you can just be accused of something. You don't have to do anything. You can just be accused of something, and the guy can get wrecked. You can be married. You can get divorced, which 80% of the time is probably not going to be him filing. You can get divorced, lose half your stuff. You can lose custody of your children. You can pay child support. Who has all the power? So there is no advantage for a man to stay and work on it here, there in the West. There's like no advantage, period. So it's kind of hard to say, okay, well, just stick around, just stay. It's going to get better. Hey, yeah, we all got lives. When is it going to get better? How much of a headache do I have to deal with? I'm sorry for the trauma, but guess what? The black man has trauma too. He's just choosing to deal with it a different way, period. Now, we're not saying, we don't need black women. We don't want black women. It's just that America isn't the only place with black women in it. Okay, we can go all over the world. There's black women. I'm in the Philippines. There's a couple of black women here too. Okay, people forget about Buffalo Soldiers and stuff like that. Got stationed over here. Now there's some over here too. So yeah, I understand there has been trauma, but guess what? We all have to go deal with our trauma. Okay, guys, we can't afford to sit around and cry and we can't afford to do that. We have to get on our grind. We have to keep serving the Most High. We got to keep building ourselves. We got to keep moving forward. We can't, and we have limited years on this planet. Okay, so we don't have time to keep doing the same thing. You're talking about some guys who built themselves back up after being wrecked. So you're supposed to go through that again? But we can go ahead.
All right. So again, we're going to get to Reese and everybody else, but I just want to give everybody a chance to speak. And remember, Akeem, Queen Real, when you guys speak, let's try to allow each other to talk and let each other answer each question. Because remember, people are watching, and I want them to be able to make a calculated decision and understanding on the topic at hand. So we can't do that if we're cutting people off or over talking. So let's try our best to let each other finish each sentence. So Akeem, the floor is yours. Any questions, comments?
Yes. Shalom to everybody on the panel. So I have a unique perspective because I got a military background. So I done seen various countries. I done been to various countries, seen different cultures and how men are treated, right? Particularly black men, since that's the premise of the discussion here. And it's a clear difference how we're treated abroad than how we're treated at home. Now, the argument, well, not even the argument, but just the perspective I don't like the perspective of the passport brothers who bash our black sisters, right? And I don't like the feminist sisters bashing passport bros because they choose to go abroad. From what I've seen from my personal experience, right? Obviously, you know, things tend to change if you're looking at it from a purely biblical perspective, because the biblical perspective is the Easternized perspective, not the Westernized perspective. But when you look at it from as a whole, like a whole picture, right? Like brother Reed, he hit the money on the head. You know what I'm saying? The men aren't choosing to run away. We're not fleeing. What they're doing is they've been fighting a battle and not winning. If you continuously fight a battle, you lose the war, right? And consistently doing the exact same thing, expecting a different result, is the definition of insanity. So if an individual chooses to say, you know what, I've done my time, I put my time in, it's time for me to go ahead and get my passport, I'm gonna go abroad. And if I happen to find someone who meets my qualities, meets my standards, meets the things that I want to see in a wife, and I marry her, there's nothing wrong with that. But then it's on the flip side, there's nothing wrong with, you know, a man choosing to stay in the United States and deal with it. I've heard people praise brothers when they marry a black woman and they say, well, I appreciate you, bro, because you didn't leave and go somewhere else. This whole passport bro conversation, it's really similar for me when I hear it to, you know, probably about 5, 10, 15 years ago, when there was a big uproar in the black community, when black men were starting to really start to date outside the race, like heavily, right? They were dating white women, they were dating Hispanic women, they were dating Asian women and different European women. And it was a problem then, just like it's a problem now. But when a man is trying his best to navigate and figure out how to make the situation work within his race, and it doesn't, and then he chooses to go elsewhere, that's not necessarily a sign of weakness. That's just him trying to, at the end of the day, listen, we have to go to work. We have to deal with the racism, the oppression, you know what I'm saying? The systematic, everything that we deal with outside our walls. At the end of the day, and I'm sure every man on this panel can attest to this, at the end of the day, when we come home, we want peace. We want shalom. We can't go out and fight the world and then come home and fight with our spouse just for something that naturally comes from some of these other cultures who were trained and brought up in such a way to uplift the man and not bring him down. I'm not tripping off of the trauma. I understand our sisters have been put through the ringer. A lot of them don't know no better. It's how they were raised. That's how they seen their mom and their aunts and their grandparents act. And so that systematic indoctrination to be hard, to be callous, to be more masculine, we understand that. But it's not like we were like not putting any effort or work into it. We trying, we working it. You got brothers that I done been dating black women my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I've been dating black women my whole life. You know, all praise to the Most High. I married a black woman, but if that didn't work, I told my wife a long time ago, I said, when we got together, I said, you saved me a ticket, because I was going to go to the DR on some honesty. You know what I mean? I told her she saved me a ticket. You know what I mean? Because she's black, but she's mixed black and Dominican. So she laughs at it, but I was serious. You know what I mean? But I get the argument on both sides. I think that whatever you choose, there should be no negative recourse, and there should just be understanding and accept the person's decision. If you choose to continue to just date only with in your race, all praises. If you choose to go abroad, all praises. That's all I got to say.
Okay.